So, Elliot, tell me about these rankings. What are these based on?
Well, we're coming off of the Super Bowl all the way through free agency and the draft. So don't just consider what the team did in the draft. Consider what they did in March. I'm looking at the Rams specifically. And also, just because a team won the draft and got a great quarterback for the future, we're looking at teams that are good right now, today, based off of their draft.
And teams that are good right now today. Number one, the Eagles.
Right. I told you off camera that I think they have as good a shot to repeat as anybody, and really as any team, non-Patriots, in the last 20 years. I think the Eagles are solid, and I love the move to get Dallas Goedert, the tight end. They knew the Cowboys needed a tight end, and they traded up. They get this guy.
And they lost 2 tight ends, too.
Yeah, Trey Burton was a big loss, I thought.
Yeah, you know what? I think when you add Sidney Jones back into the mix, obviously coming off the Achilles injury from last year's draft, then you get Carson Wentz back. That's all I need to say.
That D-line, they added some depth there. So that's the number one team. Number 2 team here, the Rams.
Yeah, I moved the Rams way up, Colleen, since the end of the season. I think I had them 6th. And the reason I did is because of all the acquisitions. You had Marcus Peters, you had Aqib Talib, you had Ndamukong Suh. I know they lost Sammy Watkins. I didn't think Sammy Watkins was really integral to their success last year, other than being a vertical threat. And MJD, they got Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, no, they did a great job, I thought, in March, understanding that this draft was going to be pivotal for other issues like depth at the offensive line, defensive line, adding linebacker depth. But they really went out and got playmakers in free agency.
All right, so who should be the number 1 spot? Do you agree with this, MJD, that the Eagles are at the top?
You know what? Where's my single? Eagles fans, we have to get past this. We really do. You guys have done such a great job. Congratulations on winning the Super Bowl. And they've added depth, yes. But as we go back to our 3-shot here.
Is that an apology?
I still have to say the Rams.
That's not going to help. Eagles fans, this is not going to help.
I think the Rams have done so much in this draft. It's amazing. You add Brandon Cooks, and you talk about Sammy Watkins. Not only can Brandon Cooks be the deep threat, he can catch shallow crosses, he can check screens. He's better with the ball in his hands than he is running routes without the ball, right? So you get this young man. You add Todd Gurley. They've added depth at the running back position. I mean, they've done a great job from free agency to the draft. It's amazing, through trade or however it might have been. They've done, and you add Ndamukong Suh to that defensive line. Ooh, it's going to be tough to beat.
Eagles fans never forget.
No, I'm still going to take the Eagles, though. I did like, and deep dive, I like 5th-round pick Micah Kaiser for the Rams. That said, the Eagles' defense is why I have them number 1. We keep talking about Carson Wentz coming back, but you got Michael Bennett, right? Again, you and I were just talking. Haloti Ngata.
Yep.
You just mentioned that Sidney Jones was back for Philadelphia. In this defense, yeah, the offense was great. They were 3rd in points. The defense was 4th in points allowed. I think that defense is going to be even better. Who's more balanced than the Eagles right now?
The Rams. And that's why I said the Rams.
You think the Rams are going to be better on defense with the new acquisitions?
See.
Ooh, okay. Hey,
Espanol for you.
That's fine. What about the team, though, that the Eagles beat to win the Super Bowl? They're your number 3 team, the Patriots.
Right, and well, there's been so much talk, Colleen, about New England and whether they're going to fall apart, but I love their draft. I thought they did a heck of a job. And, you keep hearing about all the consternation within the building. I feel like people look for excuses to knock this team down, And at the end of the day, New England has been there every year. They've made 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls.
As long as they have Tom Brady, they're fine. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, Tom Brady's there. We saw what he's done in crunch time. And even in that Super Bowl game, he had to match the Eagles match for match the whole time. The defense didn't show up, and they were still in the game at the very end.
Yeah, and I like what they did in the draft, too, adding Isaiah Wynn and Sony Michel. Those were good picks.
Yeah.
Dropping 1 spot here in the rankings, Jags at number 4, Elliot.
Yeah, and this was more of a reflection of the Rams making so many improvements and leapfrogging them. I'm not ready to put Jacksonville up over New England. The one thing about Jacksonville is, why not get a quarterback day 1 or day 2? Why not?
They believe in Blake Bortles. He takes you to the AFC Championship game. I understand that. And they have a certain way of football they want to play. They want to run the ball, play dominant defense. When everyone else is going 3 wide receivers, they want to have a play-action pass game. They want to have a very intense running game. And I thought they attacked that in the draft, as well as free agency, adding tight ends to go give you a vertical threat to help your quarterback.
They believe in Blake Bortles. Do you believe in Blake Bortles?
I believe in him.
Okay.
We made it to the AFC Championship.
You guys are all in.
We're all in.
I mean, just an insurance policy?
Cody Kessler.
Well, so who's the favorite then in the AFC? Is it still the Patriots? I mean, or the Jags kind of?
I'm sorry, I was my single.
Closer?
There was a single going on here.
No, on the tee for you.
Yeah. Definitely, it's the Jags, and I think that defense. Again, there was a 3rd and 18 in the AFC Championship game where they played cover 3. And if they would have played man-to-man, I think you'd have got Tom Brady off the field there. Your offense would have ran the clock down, and it would have been a different game. That 3rd and 18 kind of broke their back a little bit. Plus, if you are all on Twitter, Miles Jack was not down. It was all over the place, right? And so we know that. So there were some opportunities there that we didn't, the calls didn't go the Jags' way. I think the Jags are ready. They have a young defense, young offensive line, young running back, young quarterback. They're ready to make a run again.
Well, in fairness, Colleen, I get distracted when I see him on the single as well. And we keep talking about, like I said, the Patriots and all this consternation in their building. How about the fact that Julian Edelman is coming back? You know, he's been a huge part of their success the last few years. He got hurt, didn't play last year, and I think he's going to be a big part. And, you know, I think that's a big reason, too, why it was okay for Danny Amendola to go down to Miami. I think New England's going to be just fine, and they still have a huge advantage. I hate to bring it up again, at quarterback. They have a huge advantage over Jacksonville.
But guess who won the Super Bowl this year?
The Eagles.
Nick Foles. Exactly. Yep. There was 4 quarterbacks in that AFC Championship game, and none of them had playoff experience, but the one that obviously was Tom Brady. So it's not really about the quarterback. It's a team that you build around the quarterback. Yes, Tom's terrific, and that's why they call him that. But I think, again, you can't find Tom Brady in every draft. There isn't Tom Brady in any of these drafts, right? So you have to find the guy that fits your system. I think Blake Bortles does a great job. When he started using his legs, he stopped trying to force the ball. When they were able to have a really good running game in Pittsburgh early on in that AFC Championship game, they ran the ball well and used play-action pass to their success. Yep. That's how you win in Jacksonville.
The wide receivers, though, do they worry you at all? I know that they drafted DJ Chark, but just looking at them on paper, they lost Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns. I know Robinson wasn't really playing last year because he was hurt, but still, does it worry you at all?
No, I think Marquise Lee did a great job, and it hurts me, it pains me to talk about a Trojan like this, but to see Marquise Lee do what he did opens the door for everyone else.
And Colleen, I think you made a good point there with New England getting Sony Michel in the bottom of the 1st round. He could help out Tom Brady quite a bit.
All right. Well, let's take a look at your rankings 1 through 8 here, and it's pretty NFC-heavy rankings.
Yeah, but what's exciting about this to me is how many contending teams do we have? All 8 of those teams could win the Super Bowl. All 8 of them.
That's true. And a lot of these teams now improving themselves a ton in the draft. So Jair Alexander goes to Elliot's number 9 team here, the Packers, and they love them some DBs.
Yeah, they do. They drafted him. They drafted Josh Jackson, and then our researcher Jack said, hey, don't forget about last year. They took Jones and they took King in the 2nd round. That's 4 defensive backs with day 1 and day 2 picks the last 2 years.
Well, you got to think about it. They should be number 9. They have Aaron Rodgers back. Forget everything else.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers is back. They're back.
Okay, what about the number 11 team here, the Chargers, who Derwin James just fell in their lap?
Right. Well, everyone was talking about quarterback. They got a guy that was a top 10 talent. But not only that, go back to last year. They got nothing out of Mike Williams and Forrest Lamp. Both of them had injury problems. Lamp missed the whole year. They're going to have an influx of talent this year. And, oh, by the way, they weren't bad at the end of last year.
I definitely feel like Derwin James should have jumped them into the top 10. Like, he was a top 10 talent. They got him to solidify that defense.
Over Josh Rosen.
Huh? Say it again? He was behind Josh Rosen.
I know. I'm saying he should have.
Well, Josh Rosen should have been the number 1 pick, but that's another time for another segment. But I'm saying you add him to this defense. Phillip Rivers is on target. They get another running back. They're good to go.
Gus Bradley's just doing his thing again.
He's
building another monster.
I love it. Gus, do your thing.
That's right. So here's Elliot's rankings 9 through 16.
I'm comfortable with this.
Of course you are.
The AFC South is balling right now.
Look at Tennessee there at 13. We were just talking. They had 4 picks in this draft, and they knocked them all out of the park. They're going to contend in Houston. I mean, God, all the guys are getting back.
As you can see here, Elliot's 17 through 24 rankings. Shaq Griffin's new team coming up at 18 right there, falling 5 spots.
Yeah, and I want to circle one team there, the Redskins, Colleen. I think they stop the run. They get a running back in the draft. I think they're going to be a little better with Alex Smith.
All right, let's dig a little deeper on numbers 18 and 22 with the Seahawks and Cowboys.
Oh, Colleen, which team has a chance to get back to the NFC, the top of the NFC?
Well, you're biased against the Cowboys generally.
I'm never biased against the Cowboys. Yeah. Stop it. Okay, this is all truth and honesty. Now, I'm biased against the Eagles. But that's neither here nor there.
So who's coming back? Who's going to make it back in the playoffs?
Well, let's go. If we're going to talk about quarterback, let's just be honest. I'm going to give that to the Seattle Seahawks. They got that one. All right. Head coach, what is it saying?
If you don't have a ring, you don't get the ding.
That's right. Pete Carroll,
I can't believe
ding, we'll give that to exactly. Now, when we get to division, this was a tough one for me. And I was really going through it. The Eagles, Giants, Redskins versus the Cardinals,
Well, the
Rams,
Cardinals are so-so. Niners are better. Okay, the Rams are going to contend for the Super Bowl. The Eagles will contend for the Super Bowl, but I don't think there's any team in the NFC East that's as threatening as even the Niners right now outside of the Eagles.
Yeah, that's big. Well, Elliot, you've convinced me, and we're going to give this division to the Cowboys.
It's an easier division.
It is an easier division. I think they have a chance. They're both tough, but it's easy. When you go to schedule now, one team plays the
AFC
East, and the Cowboys.
They're playing the West.
The West. The schedule for me is much easier for the Cowboys as well. I'm going to give this to the Cowboys. And the reason being is it is close, but you have the Bills, who have a new quarterback. You have the Dolphins that know what they're doing, and the Jets. They're still up in the air, and that was the turning point on that one. And then when it comes to the draft, now we debated on this one. There were some picks I really didn't like for the Cowboys.
You didn't like Leighton Vander Esch,
I didn't like the early picks. The early picks weren't my flavor. When you need a tight end, you need a wide receiver, and you go linebacker, O-line. It just wasn't.
They needed a left guard, man.
Yeah, but you need someone to catch the ball, too.
That's true.
Right? I mean, that was one of the big issues. Yeah, you got him in the third round. And then the Seahawks, I love the Penny pick. I think Penny's going to be that. And that's where it got a little questionable. I didn't know where they were going in those situations. You didn't really fix the offensive line. So, with that all being said, we're going to give the draft to the Cowboys. And then you said I was biased, but I do feel like, and it makes sense, the Cowboys are better and more equipped to go and make a run at the top of the NFC than the Seattle Seahawks, who are still rebuilding right now.
Right. I mean, I think there's a big advantage right here at the top, but easier division, a little bit easier schedule, and more starters potentially in the draft. I think it is Dallas.
And this is always the key. This is what helps you jump to the top very quickly, the schedule. If you can jump
them early. Shouldn't they be higher then, if they win? Should the Cowboys be higher in the rankings?
They got to win. He can't be biased.
No, I can't be biased. Not about your schedule.
Fine. All right, let's take a look at your rankings here, 25 through 32, the bottom of the barrel here. Oh, my God, you have the Giants at 25?
The Browns
haven't won a game. I can't put them higher than 31. Denver had a sneaky good draft. I'm serious. Look out for the Broncos this year.
All right, well, this is perfect. This is a perfect segue for too high, too low. Okay. MJD, I'm going to give you three teams here. You tell me too high, too low, starting with the Panthers at number 10.
They're too high. And the reason, I felt like they have a lot of... They lost a lot, and they really didn't add much in the draft.
You're a Cam guy.
I love Cam.
You've always been a Cam guy.
I love Cam. When Cam is high, Cam is too high, that's 15-1. But when Cam is low,
a tight end for him, a wide receiver for him. They're helping him out finally. You don't like it.
I just don't think their defense is where it should be in order for them to be that high. Because in this
would
league,
you put them?
You have to play defense. I put them 14-ish. I think they're right below Tennessee, but better than Baltimore.
Okay, what about the Chargers at 11?
Oh, that's way too low.
Way too low.
They went on a terror. They went on a terror. It was so crazy that everyone was terrified of them, the Jags, and who was the other team? I want to say there was another team in the NFC that wanted to play. Oh, yeah, it was the Rams.
49ers.
Or the Niners, too. But I think you get Derwin James at 17. Like, that is crazy. And you've added some other pieces. You get a linebacker to help the linebacking core. You get another running back. I mean, they really went in and did some great stuff.
Yeah, you look at these kids that the Chargers drafted. Derwin James, really the first guy we saw there, I thought was just a great pick for them. I moved him down one spot. I still have him at 11, which means you're going to be a wild card team. Mm-hmm. And I think they will be. Of course, we always get high on the Chargers.
Always. I always fall for it.
They're in L.A. now.
They have playmakers at every level of that defense. But the Giants at 25, that's the one that caught my eye initially.
This is your Cowboy fan. Where's Fabs? Is Fabs in here?
Come on out here, Fabs. He was a minute ago.
Come on, because you and Fabs love these Cowboys. That's so disrespectful. OBJ's coming back. You get Saquon Barkley.
I forgot
you add offensive line depth.
In there. Yeah,
you get Will Hernandez. You get all these guys to help that offense, and then you still go get some great defensive players.
I love their draft.
They did a great job, and they didn't. And this is just like the Cowboys where they had a off year and they were able to get Ezekiel Elliott and then bounce back up. I see the Giants doing the same thing. Listen, America. If you don't believe in me, believe or hear me now, believe in me later. The Giants are back.
Giants are back. Okay, you heard it right here first.
The Giants are back, America.
What do the people think? Let's talk to you guys. Let's hear from you. Power to the people. Get some tweets in here. And let's see. Our first one, I believe it's about the Chiefs. Chiefs are way too low at 17. That's what Joe says. Mahomes is going to be a star.
See, the key in that whole phrase is going to be. I have to see it first. Yes, we saw one game, but that's one game. You got to understand, this league, once they get enough film on you, they start to take away what you do well, and they force you to do other things.
I like what they did in the draft. They're trying to retool that defense, but Patrick Mahomes, who was essentially a redshirt freshman last year as a rookie. I think 17 was actually pretty high, considering we have no idea what he's going to do. There's some decent teams behind the Chiefs in the power rankings.
I think losing Marcus Peters is going to hurt them, too.
You bet.
How about this one about the Colts? Hey, that's just like your opinion, man. Andrew Luck.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, listen, I love what the Colts did in the draft. I love what they're trying to build, getting these guards and building this offensive line. But the key piece is Andrew Luck still hasn't thrown the football yet.
Yep.
So when, we can't make any, that's why, like, you had him at 32, right?
Yes.
I don't know if he's going to ever throw a football again.
Well, especially after last year, I feel like we were kind of led on a little bit.
A lot of people don't like to be led on. Just tell me it's over.
And
tell me it's over when it's over.
And who doesn't agree that the Browns are at least better than they were? They may not be a 6-10 team, but the Colts until Andrew
Browns
Luck
are going to win 10 games
throws.
with Tyrod Taylor. You heard it here
All right,
first.
I'm not going that far.
10 games.
Drought breaker.
Double-digit wins. You know what, Elliot? Me and MJD, we want to go on a trip. You're driving, though.
Thank you. I think I heard MJD's voice there for a second. All right, the Rams started out at 29 last year because we didn't know what Jared Goff or even McVay were going to be. But then they started climbing with some wins. The first big one was against the Cowboys when the defense showed up. Wade Phillips showed that this defense was going to be legit in the second half. And then they blew out the Cardinals over in London. They moved up to 3. Stayed stationary there at the top. Then they had a little bit of a speed bump in Minnesota. Cooper Kupp fumbles inside the 5-yard line. But they finished strong. They lost a game to the Eagles. It was a close game. And then they lost a meaningless game to the 49ers. And that's how the Rams finished the season. Now I have them up to 2 because of the offseason acquisitions and a strong draft. And, hey, who improved more than them last year?
What a climb for them. 25 spots. You were along up close and personal for the whole ride. So who is going to be this year's Rams? Who is going to start off kind of low, under expectations maybe, and then just fly up the charts?
Well, for me, it's going to be the Bears and Trubisky.
I like it.
They made every move.
Trubisky.
They did everything they could to make this team about him. You get wide receivers in the draft and free agency. You get offensive linemen in the draft and free, and then you go tight end in free agency. I mean, everything, running back. They're doing everything to make it happen for him. This is a year to show us if he's the guy or he isn't the guy. And this is going to be a make-or-break year for the Bears. I think they can do it.
Yeah, I'm excited about them. With Matt Nagy there, you have Trey Burton.
Yeah.
Like the Anthony Miller pick, too, for them.
I mean, Allen Robinson, Jordan Howard, Tariq Cohen. I mean, they went and got some guys.
It's a good-looking group, yeah.
We should name their whole roster. The Giants, I think, are going to be a team. I'm agreeing with you guys from last segment. When you were hammering me, I stayed mum because I think the Giants could make a big climb. It's more than just about the draft, although I loved how they got Will Hernandez in the second round at 34th overall, helped that offensive line. Of course, we know about Saquon Barkley, but you see that guy right there, Odell Beckham Jr., coming back. He's the queen on the chessboard, man. You can move him anywhere around. He's going to make the defense declare itself. He's going to give Eli Manning one of the biggest weapons in football. And, oh, by the way, it's not Ben McAdoo anymore. It's Pat Shurmur. This whole team is better.
Will Hernandez is going to go up against Fletcher Cox. Remember that. That's the guy that's dominated the Giants for a long time.